My goodness. Something fell on the floor. Are we on the air? I think so. Yeah, we're on the air. Just silly me. Yeah, I'm formerly a person of the workforce. Yep, not anymore. Now I'm retired. Yeah, we all look for that, don't we? Except for one bad thing about when you're retired. All the decisions you have to make all the time. Worst one ever is, should I get up? Should I not get up? And you have to get up. Get out of that warm bed. Then you have to figure out what you're going to wear for the day. And have fun. At least when you work, they give you usually some kind of uniform, right? Well, I get up and I check the temperatures outside. It's 46 degrees. That's kind of chilly. Not cold enough for a real big heavy coat, and not warm enough for a lightweight coat. So I got this. Got my little stadium jacket out. Then I thought, okay, what clothes do I wear? Well, it's green, right? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go in the closet and see if I can find something green. Found this. Not bad. Wrong shade of green. And then I said, no, I'm gonna be inside all day. Hopefully having some fun doing some crafty stuff like I usually do, so I said, nope, no green shirt. Got rid of that one. And I got my Hawaiian shirt out. Like the colors there. That's my personality. Then there's the hair. Ladies, you understand this. In the wintertime, every day's a bad hair day for me. It goes flat, just lays there. So this is my solution. Like it? Yep. Made it myself. And then of course, gotta wear my music, my rock and roll music shirt. I'm good to go. I start reflecting back on work. Yeah, it was interesting. Have any of you guys ever worked in a grocery store? I did. And I think I worked in one too long. Because some of the customers got really weird. I'm in there, just putting some things away. And this lady walks by. And she's got this tiara looking thing on her head. And I'm thinking, looks like those little crowns they wear at birthday parties, you know, when you have a birthday party. And of course, older ladies, they still like to party. I have no exception. So I figured it was her birthday, right? Wrong. Totally wrong. I said to her, oh, I like your crown, your tiara. I said, is it your birthday? Because if it is, happy birthday. This is no fib. She looked at me like this. No, it's not my birthday. I am a queen. Okay. Far as I can recollect, we have one queen on this earth right now, and her name is Elizabeth, and she's in England. You know, the smart alecky side of me wanted to say, really? What country are you queen of? I didn't do it. That would have caused a whole another ball of wax. Or can of worms is the words I'm trying to say. And then there's the ladies that come into the store with their bedroom slippers on. You know, those fuzzy, furry looking things. They got their ugly toenails hanging out. They got these furry things because they couldn't bother to put on a pair of shoes. I don't want to see their ugly toes. Those are bedroom shoes. They don't belong in the grocery store. Yeah, some people have some weird ideas of what to wear when they go out in public, you know. I turned around one day and all I saw was stretched spandex. Yeah. Like poured into stretched spandex. You could see every bump, cellulite, bulge, everything. And she was just walking around like she was the, runway princess. I was like, what were you thinking when you got dressed this morning? She wasn't thinking. Then you have our latest friend. Yeah, Mr. COVID-19. Well, everybody had to wear a mask, right? We used to make bets on the customers coming in, the ones that wore the black masks. We kept saying, which one's going to rob the store today? Yeah, it was an inside joke. Nobody ever tried to rob the store, but, hey, it was something to do. We were all having to adjust to this whole mess, and kind of like, they all look like robbers to us. It's like, it's going to hold up something, if not here, the bank. And then there was my little mask incident, and why I'm here today. Yeah, I have tried every single mask they make out there. And the store had some issue ones, and they gave us these ones that were white. And I picked it up, and I looked at it, and I said, this is somebody's underwear. Because it was underwear fabric. I said, no thank you, you keep that one. So I started making my own. And I tried all kinds of different fabrics and stuff. They just didn't do it for me. I mean, I could wear one for maximum 10 minutes. Because I have a condition called asthma, and my asthma doesn't like this thing's on top of my chest. So I'm waiting on a customer, happened to be an employee too. And there were customers on either side of this individual, and I'd had that thing on my face for about 15, 20 minutes. And before I knew it, I was doing this. I almost cracked my skull on the concrete floor. That wouldn't have been fun. Not for me or the place I was working at. So, course of events kind of led up to this. I'm retired now. I'm busier now than I ever was. But when my kids were growing up, speaking of work, I made, it wasn't a mistake, it was an experience. Has anybody ever driven a school bus? I did 3 years running. I drove elementary, I drove middle school, and I drove high school. I bet you can't guess which one I hated, or maybe you can, the most. Can you guess? Take your time. I want to see if anybody can figure that one out. Well, it was in elementaries. No, those poor little things. They're only like yay big, real tiny little guy. And they look up and they see this big yellow thing, and there's a strange lady at the wheel, and they go, "No, mommy, I don't want to go. I don't want to." Now my kids were the opposite. They saw a bus, transportation, a bunch of other kids, and kid, "Bye, Mom." So much for the separation anxiety thing, right? Didn't happen. So they were just petrified of the big bus, big yellow thing, kind of like Santa Claus. Then you have the high school, on the other end of the spectrum. High school, they were just too tired to care. Why were they too tired? They just got up to get on the bus because they were out at night all partying. And now they gotta go to school. Poor things. But you know what? They like to mess with you. They mess with me, especially if you're a substitute driver. They try to tell you you don't know where you're going. You're driving the wrong way. This stop is first and that stop is last. And you're following the route. I mean, as a bus driver has to practice the route before they even drive it, for Pete's sake. They didn't like me following the rules. So what they did was, they wadded up paper and was throwing balls of paper at me while I'm driving. Nice kids, huh? Yeah. Where's the parental guidance at home? Oh, it's not there. They want the schools to do that stuff. Schools aren't there to parent your kids. They didn't have them. Y'all did. You moms and dads out there, you had those kids. You're supposed to keep them in line. Okay, the one I hated, middle school. And I bet you know why. Well, if you don't, I'm going to clue you in. Middle schoolers. They're between the ages of, 10 and 13, right? That's the age of, I know everything and you know nothing, Mom or Dad. How dare you question me? I'm 12 years old. I had a son like that. They grew out of it. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Lord. But they think they know everything. And I don't think you know anything. And they like to fight. At least on my bus they did. Yeah, well, there was forced busing in those days. Pick the kids up in the city, and you take them to a suburb school. Take the kids in the suburbs and you make them go to a city school. It was their way of integrating. It was not unequal at the time. It was just a waste of money in the state that I lived in at the time. And at least once a week, at least once, sometimes 2 and 3, at least once a week, there was a fight. I never knew what the fight was about, except that it always centered around one girl. She was kind of, not real pretty, but she looked like she wanted just to have friends. So she made the mistake of going to the back of the bus. What is it with the back of the bus? It was the same way with high school kids. For some reason, magnet, go to the back of the bus. And then those are the ones who are noisy. I'd call that the bad part of the bus. That's where the bad kids go. And this child must have had friends who were in the bad group, so to speak. And she just wanted to be a part, and they didn't want her back there. They didn't want her a part of their little group. And she was very conscious of herself, and so she fought back. Well, they were picking on her, and I figured it out after a short period of time. And until I figured that out, and these little fights would break out. They were little, they weren't huge. Since I'm driving, I have control of when they get home. Haha. When they get home to get their snack or watch their TVs. I pulled the bus to the side of the interstate and stopped. You want to know how you get kids to stop fighting? Get them to turn on one another. Because the kids were behaving, they stood up, turned around, and they started screaming, "Shut up, sit down, I want to go home, watch my show, it's coming on in 30 minutes, I don't want to be late." And they settled their own, because as a bus driver, you can't touch them, so you got to let them settle it. And I'm sorry, I want to get them home safe, so I let them duke it out until they couldn't duke it out anymore. Because then they couldn't blame me for touching any of them. I wasn't about to go there. But yeah, had a lot of experience in the work field. And I sat down one day and I figured it out. Why now I'm retired. I've had very techie kind of jobs in the past. City disbursement account reconciler, longest title I've ever had. And it seems like they get to a certain point and then they don't challenge me anymore. So then I leave and I go to another position in it. Now, I've literally done over 30 different types of work, including bookkeeper, assistant bookkeeper actually, manager. I've been manager lots of times, and I seem to would always end up in that, that level, management level. And then of course you get to be this age and you're like, this, there's nothing out there that can really challenge me enough, so I decided to do this. I got retired. I started my own business and working on that and just kind of having a little bit fun, but this is more fun than anything else. So I got some other interesting stories to tell you. I hope you've enjoyed this one. I don't know if I have a knack for it. Somebody told me that I have a female version, kind of like Bobcat Goldthwait. And I go, he's famous. I'm not nothing like him. And he said, "What did you just say about the cat?" So this is where you get to judge. We have the cat. She's a tuxedo, right? And she's always, for some reason, hungry. Even after she's been fed. She came up to me, and I was in one of my moves, people. She came up to me, and she's meowing at my feet. Carrying on, carrying on. I looked down at that cat, and this is exactly what I said. "What do you mean you're hungry? You just ate!" That's why he thinks I'm like Bobcat. I don't think so. But you can leave a comment. You can subscribe. See what else I can do. I'll give it a whirl anyway. My kids think I'm corny too. See y'all on the flip side.